Previously, the Korean team kept fighting off the ants, heading back to their nest. Jinwoo asked Choi to crank up his attack power, but Choi warned that if he did, they'd probably run out of oxygen in that place. All the Korean hunters could do was rely on Choi's fire attacks to get out of this mess. As Choi started to struggle and the ants pressed closer, in a flash, a shadow warrior emerged, stopping the attacking ants in their tracks. Jinwoo was shocked. He wondered, who was this Black Knight? He felt like he'd seen it before. The shadow then sent a signal back to Jinwoo, who was in the city. Realizing how critical the situation was, Jinwoo immediately activated his skill, Return. Meanwhile, a cameraman freaked out as two huge ants charged straight for him. Fear filled his face as he resigned himself to his fate. Suddenly, both ants were pierced by a sword. It was Ygris's sword. Back at the broadcasting station in Korea, the crew shut down the live broadcast after seeing the desperate condition of the S-rank hunters, who were on the brink of death. One of the crew members told the broadcasting chief that they were getting flooded with complaints from viewers. The chief felt like the broadcast couldn't go on, but just as he was about to give the order to shut things down, a crew member reported a mysterious figure suddenly showed up at the raid site. The chief stared at the monitor in disbelief, then ordered the broadcast to continue, no matter what. Deep down, he knew. Korea's fate was now in the hands of this hunter. Meanwhile, Jinwoo had arrived at Jeju Island, right in the middle of the ant monster nest. Calm but determined, he stood at the front lines with all his shadow warriors facing down the hundreds of ants ready to strike. Jinwoo called for Iron. Without hesitation, Iron activated his taunting cry skill, provoking all the ants in the nest. Jinwoo smiled, impressed by Iron's growing smarts. Then he readied himself for battle, gripping the Demon King's dagger. In the blink of an eye, Jinwoo moved like lightning, slashing and cutting down several ant monsters in one deadly sweep. From behind, Tusk activated a magic barrier to protect the wounded hunters. Ma Dong-wook watched in confusion, not sure what was happening. Yunho explained that with Jinwoo's presence, they didn't need to worry anymore. Meanwhile, Jinwoo was moving non-stop, slashing ants at a speed too fast to follow. Beside him, Ygris showcased his deadly swordsmanship, taking down enemies with incredible precision. Iron went wild, tearing through every ant that dared to come near, while Tank unleashed brutal attacks, easily swallowing up several ants. In the middle of the fierce battle, Jinwoo realized they needed to end this fast. Standing among the scattered ant corpses, he calmly said one word, "Arise." In seconds, the dead ant bodies were taken over and transformed into new shadow warriors, their dark, menacing aura spreading across the battlefield. The cameraman watching the scene felt a chill run down his spine, unable to believe what he was seeing. Moments later, he received a direct order from the broadcasting center. Air the footage immediately. The whole country was watching. On the battlefield, the shadow ants launched an attack, mercilessly slaughtering the other ants without hesitation. As the battle raged on, Jinwoo approached the injured hunters and handed out potions to heal them. The hunters were bewildered, shocked to see their wounds disappear, as if what had just happened was beyond their understanding. Jinwoo then checked on Hunter Cha's condition while Ma Dong-wook looked worried. Cha was still unconscious. Jinwoo stated that Cha was in critical condition and his current power wasn't enough to heal him. With the ant nest temporarily cleared, Jinwoo ordered the hunters to leave before more ants swarmed in. Suddenly, Jinwoo felt a terrifying aura. A new monster ant had entered the nest. The creature approached, mumbling something about searching for a king. Yunho was shocked to see the ant sank. Could it mean Ruiji was dead? Jinwoo stood up. He turned to Ma Dong-wook. "Take care of Hunter Cha," he said. "I'll handle this." The Ant King walked up to Jinwoo, its piercing gaze locked onto him. "Are you the king of humans?" it asked. Jinwoo smirked. "What, now even insects can talk to me?" They stood facing each other, their intimidating auras clashing in the air. Then the Ant King provoked Jinwoo further, releasing an even more intense aura. Jinwoo grinned. "Now you seem more like a bug." Meanwhile, the Korean television media was reporting what came in from the broadcasting center. The report confirmed that Hunter Min Byungju was dead, and the fate of the other hunters in the ant nest was still unknown. But then the situation took a turn. A hunter appeared on the scene and changed everything. The raid broadcast continued. The public was shocked to see Hunter Sung Jin-Woo on Jeju Island, facing off against the Ant King. On the other side, Matsumoto, the chairman of the Japanese Hunter Association, was furious about the ants killing Gotoruji. Reiji reported that the Ant King had reappeared in the nest. Matsumoto angrily asked, Does this mean that the Korean hunter is still alive? Reiji confirmed it. Yes, now someone with magical power equivalent to the Ant King has appeared. Matsumoto cursed under his breath and ordered his assistant, turn on the raid broadcast in Korea, immediately. Meanwhile, in Jinwoo's mother's apartment, she called out to Jinna. Help me turn on the TV. She was worried. Your brother just stepped out. Jinna started to feel suspicious. She rushed to her brother's room. When she opened her phone, her face went pale. Her brother was already on Jeju Island. Even Mr. Go Gun-hee was excited as he saw Hunter Sung Jin-Woo on the screen, saving hunters during the raid. Back in the middle of the battle, after releasing an intense aura, the Ant King suddenly struck Jinwoo with a heavy punch. The blow destroyed the ground beneath him, creating a huge explosion. The hunters, feeling the impact, began to worry. Had Jinwoo been severely injured by such a powerful attack? The Ant King sneered, "Weak, you are not the true king." But then, as the smoke slowly cleared, Jinwoo stood tall, completely unscathed. The hunters were stunned. They couldn't believe it. Jin immediately counterattacked. Using his Dominator's touch skill, he pulled the Ant King toward him. In a flash, Jinwoo slammed his fist into the Ant King's face, sending the creature flying into a cave wall. The hunters were speechless. How does a mage have that kind of strength? But the Ant King wasn't finished. He quickly got up and attacked again. The Ant King struck with both arms, but Jinwoo calmly blocked using his left arm. The impact shattered the ground beneath them. Jinwoo retaliated instantly, but was hit at the same time. Their heads collided, sending a massive energy wave rippling through the battlefield. Even the cameraman almost fainted from the sheer force. The crack in his head armor caught the Ant King's attention. For the first time, he was curious about this human. But Jinwoo didn't give him a chance to think. He struck again. The Ant King hit back. Their fists collided. Boom! A tremendous crash shook the battlefield. Both warriors were sent flying in opposite directions. The Ant King was shocked. His protective armor had cracked. Impossible. Before he could even react, Jinwoo was already there, slamming his fist into the Ant King's stomach. In desperation, the Ant King unleashed a mouth attack. The energy blast grazed Jinwoo's cheek, leaving a sharp wound. Jinwoo backed off to keep his distance. But suddenly his body staggered. His knees hit the ground, his vision blurred. Poison. The Ant King smirked. It's a paralyzing poison I got from a poisonous snail. I made it even more deadly with my magic. He stepped closer, towering over Jinwoo. The human in front of me should be dead by now. The scene shifts to the Japanese team in the ruins of Jeju Island. Hoshino, trembling, admitted that the Ant King was unbeatable, even for Goto Ryu. Frustrated, Kane scoffs at Hoshino's weakness. Pathetic. He decides it's best to leave, worried they'll run into more trouble if they stay any longer. As a helicopter approached to evacuate them, the scene returned to the ant nest, where the Ant King stood over Jinwoo, paralyzed from the poison. The Ant King raised his arm for the final blow, to finish him off. But in an instant, Jinwoo caught the Ant King's attack with his hand, and countered with a crushing punch that sent the giant creature flying into the wall. A system notification popped up. Poison cure has been completed. The poison in Jinwoo's body was completely neutralized. Jinwoo could see it. The Ant King was agitated, cornered. Despite his advantage, Jinwoo's thoughts turned to Hunter Cha. Her worsening condition, he had to finish this, quickly. With lightning speed, Jinwoo darts toward the Ant King and delivers an aerial kick. Boom! The ground shatters under the impact, but the Ant King narrowly dodges by leaping into the air. The Ant King mutters to himself, like his poison, useless, his physical strength, meaningless. There was only one way to win, speed. The Ant King boosts all of his stats into agility. His body becomes leaner. His deadly claws extend, glowing, menacing. Jinwoo calmly draws his Demon King dagger. They stare each other down. The next round was about to begin. The Ant King strikes first, moving at incredible speed, but Jinwoo dodges, deftly, effortlessly. He counters with a strike from his dagger, but the Ant King blocks the attack with his claws, then bam! The Ant King knocks Jinwoo into a wall. But Jinwoo flips, using the wall to propel himself right back into the fight. Their attacks clash at blinding speed. Strike after strike, too fast to follow. The Ant King is stunned. This human, he wasn't just keeping up, he was faster. Meanwhile, Jinwoo thought to himself, This ant, could he be on par with the demon monarch? Or even stronger? But it didn't matter, Jinwoo knew. His dagger would only grow stronger after this fight. With unwavering confidence, Jinwoo unleashed a flurry of slashes. Crack! The Ant King's armor shattered. Snap! His claws broke. Jinwoo saw his chance. It was time to end this. Activating Vital Strike, he attacked all of the Ant King's vital areas with pinpoint precision. A system notification popped up. Vital Strike has been upgraded to Mutilate level max. Jinwoo's eyes widened. An upgrade mid-battle, his resolve hardened. This ends now. The Ant King panicked. He turned to run, but Jinwoo wouldn't let him escape. With blinding speed, Jinwoo pursued the Ant King, activating Mutilate. A barrage of slashes rained down from all directions. Slash! One of the Ant King's arms was severed. The Ant King roared in pain. He lashed out with his claws, but Jinwoo dodged, effortlessly. The Ant King was losing. Cornered. Desperate. Was he really about to lose to a human? No, there was still one way. His last resort. The Ant King released a wave of magic energy, summoning his army. In an instant, thousands of soldier ants flooded the battlefield. The Ant King challenges Jinwoo with this move, as if asking, "What will you do now?" But Jinwoo just smiles and says one word, "Go forth." Instantly, Jinwoo's shadow expands. One by one, his shadow minions emerge behind him, ready to face the incoming army of ants. The Ant King is taken aback. For the first time, he feels something unfamiliar. Doubt. Without another word, the two forces charge at each other. Yggdrasil, wielding his sword, slices through the ants in front of him, while the High Orc generals tear into them with brutal efficiency. Jinwoo orders Tusk to eliminate all the ants with fire magic. But before Tusk can act, Jinwoo's voice hardens. "Only the ants. If a single human is hurt, I won't summon you again." Tusk understands. He activates his Hymn of Giant skill. His body expands. Massive. Colossal. With his enlarged form, he activates Hymn of Fire Dragon. Whoosh! A devastating blast of fire erupts, aimed directly at the ant colony. The attack is so powerful that it pierces through the volcanic mountain where the ants have built their nest. The hunters couldn't believe their eyes. To them, Jinwoo looked like a demon king descending to earth. The firestorm consumes the entire ant army, leaving only the Ant King behind. Frustration fills the Ant King. Since his birth, he believed he was destined to be the strongest, an endlessly evolving predator. He had devoured everything in his path. He stood at the top of the food chain, a true monarch. But now, he was afraid. For the first time in his life, he felt fear. Through the thick smoke, Jinwoo stepped forward, unscathed, unstoppable. Panic surged through the Ant King. He had only one option: escape. With desperation, he activated his healing magic, restoring his condition. Then he took off into the air, fleeing. But Jinwoo wasn't having it. With a single gesture, he activated Dominator's Touch. Slam! The Ant King crashed into the ground. Hard. Jinwoo stood over him. Judgment was coming. The Ant King, powerless, still tried to crawl away. But Jinwoo had already decided how this would end. He leapt into the air, and a flurry of deadly strikes rained down on the Ant King's body, ending his life. In an instant, a system notification popped up. You defeated the enemy. You leveled up. After the fight, Yunho rushed toward Jinwoo. Hunter Cha's condition is critical. Jinwoo's eyes sharpened. He checked her immediately. Too much time had been wasted. They needed a hunter healer now. But Shadow Exchange was still on cooldown. He could ride Kaisei to the city, but would she survive long enough? Suddenly, something clicked in Jinwoo's mind. He turned to the cameraman. Shut off the camera for a moment. The cameraman hesitated. It was a live broadcast. But something in Jinwoo's tone made him pause. Jinwoo turned to his shadow warriors. Find Hunter Min Byung-gyu's body. They obeyed immediately. It didn't take long. A High Orc Shadow General returned, carrying the lifeless form of Min Byung-gyu. Jinwoo grimaced. The Ant King had devoured his head. Doubt crept in. Would this even work? But then, a notification popped up. Shadow extraction can be used on this target. Yunho, confused, demanded answers. What are you doing to Byung-gyu's body? But Jinwoo ignored him. He stepped closer to the corpse. He uttered a single word, arise. A dark shadow crept from Min Byung-gyu's body. But then, a notification appeared. You failed to extract the shadow. Jin round. He tried again. Failed. It didn't make sense. At his level, this should have worked easily. Yet it felt like Min Byung-ju's spirit was resisting. Refusing to be summoned, Jinwoo hesitated. He knew this looked demonic, like something evil pulling the dead from their graves. But someone's life was on the line. He had to save Hunter Cha. Gritting his teeth, he tried one last time. Arise. The corpse reacted. A dense, black shadow enveloped Min Byung-ju's body. Yoonho shouted in anger. "What the hell are you doing? Stop this!" But his anger quickly turned into shock as Min Byung-ju's body began to rise. He had become a shadow warrior. The other hunters froze, silent, terrified. What they just witnessed defied all logic. But then, something unexpected happened. Shadow Min Byung-ju moved, not waiting for orders, not hesitating. He walked toward Hunter Cha, calmly, and activated his healing magic, saving her life just as she teetered on the edge of death. Yoonho watched the scene unfold with pure disbelief. Jinwoo, noticing Yoonho's expression, explained, "I can sense a person's nature when they're alive." For Byung-ju, his healer instincts were so strong, he acted on his own, without commands. The cameraman stood in shock, unable to process what he'd just witnessed. But now he understood. This power could never be broadcasted to the entire world. Yoonho placed a hand on Jinwoo's shoulder. His voice was calm yet firm. "You'll do incredible things in the future." He believed Byung-ju's power would help them in the battles ahead. But he asked Jinwoo, "Don't force him into unnecessary fights." Jinwoo brushed Yoonho's hand off. "That's the second time you've touched my shoulder." But then, a brief pause, a small smile crept onto his face. This time, Jinwoo felt that Yoonho's gesture wasn't about authority, not an order, but a sincere request. Walking towards Shadow Byung-ju, Jinwoo nodded. "Cancel extraction." Slowly, Shadow Min Byung-ju began to fade, his form dissolving back into the afterlife. But before disappearing completely, he cast one final smile toward Yoonho. Yoonho stood still. Then he returned the smile with deep respect. It was hard, but he knew this was the right decision. The silence that followed was heavy, leaving the hunters with mixed emotions as they watched one of their heroes leave for the final time. Meanwhile, the helicopter arrived at Jeju Island, ready to pick up the hunters. Through the heavy rain, the hunters walked toward the helicopter. Sadness clearly etched on their faces. Once everyone got in, Jinwoo turned to Yoonho. "Go first. I still have something to take care of." From a distance, the remaining swarm of ant monsters could be seen flying over Jeju Island. Jinwoo summoned Kaisei and quickly hopped onto the dragon's back. He decided to pave the way, to wipe out the remaining monsters scattered around. Kaisei spread his wings, soaring into the sky with Jinwoo. As they flew, Jinwoo took out every remaining ant monster, making sure the hunters could leave the island safely. Meanwhile, aboard the Japanese warship where the Japanese team had gathered, Hashino was still visibly shaken. The other Japanese hunters approached him, eager to know what had happened. Hashino, trembling, muttered, "The monster I saw was no ordinary enemy. Even Goto Ryuji couldn't stand a chance against it. There wasn't a single hunter who could defeat a monster like that." Sugimoto stepped in, trying to calm him. "The raid on Jeju Island is over." But Hashino's eyes widened in disbelief. It sounded impossible. Sugimoto then recalled Ryuji's words about a powerful hunter from Korea, and suddenly he began to wonder. Was it Sung Jin-Woo? Had he defeated that monster? Just then, a crew member rushed in. "A swarm of ants has been detected near the ship." Immediately, the hunters were ordered to prepare for battle. Meanwhile, Jinwoo returned to the ant nest to clean up the remaining monsters. His shadow mages cast fire magic, instantly burning the unhatched ant eggs. Jinwoo felt both surprised and lucky. Even by destroying unhatched eggs, he was still earning extra experience points. Opening his inventory system, he retrieved the Demon King longsword, an incredible weapon he had acquired from the Demon King himself. With the sword in hand, Jinwoo gave it a try. His first swing unleashed, a crackling bolt of lightning. The ground trembled beneath him. Amazed by the sword's power, he smirked. It would be a waste to just leave it sitting in his inventory. So Jinwoo made his decision. He would use this sword to clear out the remaining ant eggs in the nest. The scene then jumped to the United States, where Michael Corner and David Brennan, the director of the American Hunter Bureau, were watching a replay of the Jeju Island Raid. Michael commented on how extraordinary it was for a hunter to control hundreds of creatures, though it's a shame, he added, that he came from such a small country like Korea. David stared at the screen intently, before sharply asking, "Michael, what else do you know about this hunter?" Michael handed him a file, explaining, the fire incident involving Sung Il-hwan was connected to Jinwoo. Sung Il-hwan had been found alive in an A-ranked dungeon. Although he claimed to be a Korean hunter, there were doubts about whether he was human or a monster. Further investigation revealed Jinwoo was his son, looked stunned. He realized this was a rare opportunity to recruit someone like Jinwoo, even if it risked straining relations between the US and Korea, especially after America had successfully recruited Dong-soo. Still, a hunter like Jinwoo was worth fighting for, no matter the cost. David then turned to Michael. His expression was serious. "Can you handle the task?" That concludes this episode. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, please subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.